Welcome back again to Apache Kafka series. We are now going to continue from where we stopped. So let's go and create this class. We'll have another class and we call it the consumer error handling the serializer. We are going to extend the class, a class called error handling the serializer, also from the Kafka Spring. Error handling the serializer, and in this class we are going to override only one method. But before that, actually one of the purpose of just extending this class and creating our own custom class is like if you want to add header, or if you want to add headers in case of error, you want to get some information, and then from the errors then you can use this error handling the serializer to add header. So let's say, for example, we have a property, just example here. We have, let's say, another property and call it a string property, and let's say we are going to just send the topic name. So the serializer and then topic, then name. So we have this property. So when we send this property to our header, if there is an error, we can get the same property. We can get this property, and let's say we will print the topic name from there. So here, while we are going to create a constructor, and then we will override another method. So we will override a method called the serializer that get the headers. Yes, we have the headers here and the topic name. So the thing that we are just going to do, have a method, a private method, let's say, call it prepare header, and also the method will take the same data as the above method. The only thing here, when it take the data then the method will also just add a header to this. So we can say like headers and then add then our key up there, the header key topic name. Then we said topic dot get byte. So we just add it here. Then before we call the deserialize, we will prepare and add our header here. So we have the topic, header, and then the data. So now we are almost all set with this also. We don't have anything to do, just we have created our consumer deserializer, and we will go back to our config. Now when we go back to our config, we will import this class. So now we have our class also ready, and it is imported, and now this is also ready. The consumer factory is ready. We are now sending this. Then the next thing we are going to do is to create a bean, the Kafka listener container factory bean, that will be used for our Kafka listener method to listen or to get the messages from Kafka. So let's get to it. We'll create a bean. So we'll have our bean annotation. Then we have Kafka listener. Now we have our Kafka listener factory. This Kafka listener factory will make it take a concurrent message listener container. So in this message listener container, it takes our string key, then our message value, then we just have the method or Kafka listener factory ready. So in this bean, we are going to first initialize the concurrent Kafka listener factory, container factory. Sorry, not this. So now also this is initialized. Now we are going to set some properties. Some of the properties we are going to set in the factory. So here we set consumer factory, then we have our consumer factory method down here that we created, which is just here. Then we also have we'll set the error handler. We can also now create our error handler that will, with the method overridden, that will be called. The previous one we created, we use it just for sending some messages or adding some information to the header. So this is like the consumer error handling listener that add information. But we also can create another error handler, and this error handler will be used to call, or the method handle will be called in that error handler. So we are going to also create our own error handler, and this error handler, we call it consumer error handler, for example. It's obvious actually the name. So and then we also have we implement the error handler, also same from the Kafka, the Spring Kafka. Now in our error handler, we want to, in the previous consumer error handling deserializer, we pass a topic. So we want to get that topic from here. When we get an error, we want to get information. Actually, I'm just showing like how we can pass information to the header and also read those information in case of problem, so in case of error. So now in this error handler, we override a method called handle. Okay, this is the one. So this one will have the exception and then the consumer record. So now we override this method and we want to make it to be a component. So after we override this method, now we are going to create, let's say, get the information we pass, or the information we pass in the header. So our topic name, okay, the header name we gave was static final. Let's even go there and copy it directly. It's here. So we are getting it, and we will come here and just have the same property here. So now that we get it, we can set string, then get our topic, then we say topic, then now we want to get our topic from the header we pass. It's just a string topic, so we can just create a string, and then we say consumer record, no, the data. From data we set headers. There is a header in the data, then we set, let's say, last header, then we say header, and we get our header. Then from this header we get the value we pass. So this way we get the information in the header that we pass. So we can just log information. Let's say we also import the log4j, then we come here and log when if we got an exception while deserializing, or if the serializer got an exception, it will call this handle method. So we can set an exception occurred. Just write a message here, an exception listener, and let's say from. Then we give our topic, the topic we just passed from this topic, and then maybe we can also log the exception. So let's have it in a separate line, and then exception, our exception will go here, then the message from the exception, though here it is, let's just make it get message. Then we have this, our handle method will then be called. So now we also have this handler. Let's go back to our config also to import the handler again. So we have the handler here, and it is here. We created the consumer handler, and then we will have it in our constructor. So it is now ready. So we can set our error handler now. We can set our error handler, set error handler, and then we can give the consumer error handler. Then lastly, we are going to set also the concurrency part, set concurrency, and this as we know, when we have put this in the YAML file, so we also have it here. So consumer concurrency, we have the property already. Then now everything is ready. For now, we are going to use these properties to just for our factory. So now our configuration is ready. With this configuration, we will now have other services that can use the same configuration to consume information. So I think we are going to continue with this in the next video. So until then, I hope this will benefit someone out there. Let's continue in the next video then.